day is it? Tuesday. Right. Have you both had a nice Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Could I ask you to introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Jack Teagle, and I'm an illustrator, a comic artist, and painter. I think. Yeah, like a few other things sometimes.
Okay, lovely.
Hi, I'm Donya. I'm pretty much the same illustrator, painter, comic artist, freelancer. Nice to meet everyone.
Hello. This kind of format for conversation is new to everyone, so it really doesn't feel tense. But I think the tension's a nice thing. It like lubricates the conversation a bit. Can you tell us where are you at the moment? Where did we find you?
We're in our room on the farm where we live.
In Newquay.
In Newquay, Cornwall.
Right. Okay. So you live on a farm in Cornwall. It doesn't sound like like the hub of the creative world. Yet your work's so interesting and exciting. Do you think the location of where you work and live and practice informs how you make work?
It is like being hobbits here. There's loads of sheep and farmers, but no people.
Do you like working in living in somewhere a bit more remote? Do you think that informs like your work?
It's kind of like sensory deprivation, I think. And then things emerge and you think, oh yeah, I'll do that.
And we're really close to everything anyway. We pop up to Plymouth quite a lot, and Bristol, and we go to London a few times a year.
Okay.
As a treat, yeah.
A nice treat. Let's go to the city.
Yeah.
How did you end up? Is there reasons? Have you actively chosen not to go to London?
No, not. I think it's a bit selfish, really. We just wanted to try and buy as much time as possible to make as much work as possible.
Right. Okay.
So instead of getting jobs, we thought we'd try and live as cheap. Like my family have been amazingly supportive, and we just pay rent at home and try and help out and do whatever we can. And
by living here, it's basically given us the freedom to not have to work full time in a coffee shop, or I had a part-time job as a cleaner, but it meant that we could just make loads of work and then kickstart our careers instead of it taking twice as long like it does sometimes.
Yeah, and do you feel that's starting to happen? I have to say, I think both of you are incredibly prolific artists, and I guess is this certainly what I've seen you doing over the last 12 or 15 months. Is that connected, do you think, to these decisions?
I think so.
Yeah, I think because when Don was cleaning, that was probably one of his busiest as an illustrator, just doing bare bones freelance stuff, bread and butter work. And now we're self-publishing more, and we sell our own t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're really starting to make things into more of a business rather than carrying on as a student, really focusing on being professional and trying to get us together.
Yeah, for sure.
It's given us the time, instead of, going off and carrying on being a student and going and doing an MA, we've sort of done it on our own and just had that time to keep on painting and making comics and keep on drawing and just have the time to, get stuff out there.
Yeah, and it seems like the stuff you're doing is the kind of stuff you want to be doing, rather than Jack talked before about like the bread and butter commercial illustration. Did you feel like that stuff you weren't getting any vibes or good? You weren't enjoying that. You wanted to turn your back on it.
Yeah, well, it's tricky really, because I guess the most fun stuff that I did would be pitches, and I did an advert, and they wanted stuff quite close to one of my recent comic at the time, and I got really excited about it. And every project that we did, we got paid, but the work just basically got closed and then shut away somewhere, and I couldn't ever really use it. So I think it was just that frustration sometimes of that compromise or stuff getting chopped away.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
but I still love doing it when like good stuff comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's finding that right brief, isn't it? Sorry, Donya.
Sorry, I was just saying they're both hard in their own ways, because when you've got somebody paying you to make something for them, there's that incentive to get it done and do whatever you need to. But if you're just doing your own stuff, it usually takes longer because you're just doing it on your own. So it's a bit both.
Yeah, for sure.
Really.
Okay.
But try not to take on really, really rubbish jobs and doing things that
it's a really
as well as lucrative.
Yeah, but it's a bold move, and I think it's paying off. I mean, I'd like to look at some examples in a moment. I wanted to start off, if we go to these questions, the next thing I wanted to see was like an object or objects. Have you got any artifacts? Any treasures you can share with us?
We've brought our toys.
I've got, I love Japanese soft vinyl toys, so I've got a cyber Kenshin.
Who's this guy then?
He's, I think he's Cyborg Henshin. I found some at Nuki Car Boot and found out they're quite collectible, but I get them really cheap. This one was from Hong Kong, it was only like £5, but this one, he's really expensive. But I'm really bad. I wait for when people need rent and they sell their stuff on eBay. Yeah. And I just profit from their misery, because I can't buy from Japan because it costs so much. So I just wait for English collectors to get in trouble. And then so he's a glow-in-the-dark tortoise with stumpy little arms.
This is what I've brought. We both thought we'd do toys. This is a Greasy. She's been crocheted by my friend Sophia Vinny, who's also called Little Inkstain. She's a mascot of the Comic Book Slumber Party, which is an all-girls comic group I'm part of and help run. And I thought that would be a good thing to show you all.
Yeah, she's beautiful. So what's Greasy all about? Like, what's her deal? What's she into?
What's she into? Being a badass bitch.
Right, that's perfect. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
That's what she did.
So, can you tell us a little bit more then about the slumber party?
Yeah, it's not just girls, but the focus is on female creators and promoting female creators in comics. And it's Hannah Chapman who runs it. Does fairs and go around to conventions and do workshops and just try and promote. Like just what I said, female creators in comics. We've got some really cool people like Sarah Burgess, Liz Meddings, who else? Lucy Embry, focused a lot on Southwestern artists as well, which is really good.
Yeah, it's great. And again, it goes back to that notion of you being aware of your region and your locality and finding that actual tangible community of people that are there.
And we all get together and make comics and play silly games and just make things and just be productive, try and keep it all going so that, we're all continuously making things and getting together and keeping a community that we're all in different places.
Yeah, amazing.
But anyone can get involved. If you just type in Comic Book Slumber Party, you can find us. We're doing a workshop at 22 panels next weekend in Falmouth, if anyone fancies coming down.
Okay, magic. You don't fancy a trip to Falmouth?
Not a bit far.
Well, I think it's really good to recognise that these are things going on, even if people can get involved or just have a look at what's happening online. Is there any images that relate to...
let's have a look. It's number 12 is CVSP. That's Greasy.
Right, yeah, there she is, yeah. Amazing.
Hannah runs comic anthologies too, so if anybody's interested in getting involved, drawing their own Greasy, just get in touch with her, get involved, or get in touch with me and we'll put you on it as well.
Yeah, amazing. I wanted to talk about, just generally, and this is a really difficult question, but on the list it says, what sort of artwork do you make? Can you tell us a little bit, Donya, about your interests and your ambitions and what you're trying to do with your work at the moment?
That's really hard.
Yeah.
Ambitions, I'll start with that one at the minute, is just to keep on making comics, making t-shirts, making paintings, and try and just keep doing really weird stuff and try not to get too sucked into editorial.
Yeah, sure. It seems like weird is like a really important thing to you.
Yeah, it's what I really enjoy doing, and it's what keeps me sane. So I don't want to. That's just what I want to keep doing and try and keep going with it.
Are there any particular images you could talk to us about that you feel are successfully like weird, or you feel like you're?
Oh yeah. Number 16.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look at it. Right, so tell us about this image.
I agreed to do an anthology cover for some friends that are based in Wales, and I did the front and back cover. Right. And the theme was just anything really. I could do what I wanted, and I really wanted to draw a space girl. So so I drew. It was called The Gutter. It's coming out.
Yeah, number 18 is
number 18. That's the front cover, and from that picture, I decided to carry it on and turn it to the 3 girls riding in space. And I just really fancied drawing that. And I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it's funny. I think there's like a certain indulgence to some of your drawings that you can tell that you're really, like, you're totally behind these characters. You were like, really, is that fair to say? You really believe in who these people are and like what they're trying to say?
They've all got characters and things in my mind, so I get really into it.
Yeah, amazing.
It's good fun.
I'm looking at image number 1, Donya's Death and the Girls. Can you tell us about this?
Oh yeah, that's my comic book with blank slate books. It came out last summer. It's my first like big comic. Most of my comics are about 24 pages. This one's 48.
Right.
And I made this the year after graduating. And I made this while I was, like I said earlier, I was cleaning.
Right.
Same time I was doing this. When I was making it, the sort of confidence I got making it, and when it came out, sort of gave me the confidence to quit that job and start freelancing for it.
Yeah.
So it's really important still to this project, even though it's last year's.
3 pages as well. And pictures 2 and 3 of some of the spreads.
Some samples. It's basically just a silly story about 3 friends, 3 sisters, who go around having adventures and they're trying to escape from things, and they meet people who, you know, you'll have to read it.
Okay, yeah, we'll do. There seems to be a lot of burgers and melting things.
I like to melt things in burgers.
Yeah, right.
It's just
Brilliant.
I like to draw a pair of them.
So good. What's going on there? Right, this is another conversation. So, in terms of comics art, is writing and language something that's important to you?
Yeah, it's sort of half the work writing it. I really enjoy. I don't really speak like this in real life. You can probably tell. Yeah. But I really enjoy sitting down and making new characters and thinking about how they would talk, how they would, you know, go around themselves, and it was just really fun. These 3 girls being just obnoxious, immature, like little kid girls running around causing mischief. Yeah. And I enjoyed myself, you can probably tell.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to be like a contrast of like symbols, you know, all the time. There's like this kind of weird kind of collection of influences that seems kind of cutesy, but also kind of like hyper-real.
Yeah.
It's really gross, but in a really beautiful way. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, no, I like that. That sounds about right.
That's like Frida Kahlo's like. It's beautiful and gross.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Jungle Mizuno as well, which I'm really pleased about.
Okay.
And Dane Darcy as well. I like those people.
Sorry, Dane Darcy?
Dane Darcy, she's an American comic artist.
Right, okay. That's interesting. Now, tell us a bit about US comics, because I know you mentioned something before about that, Jack. Like, have you guys been quite heavily influenced by what you see happening over in the US?
Yeah, but it's funny because I'm really into Matt Brinkman and Brian Chippendale, and like Matt Brinkman just vanished.
Yeah. What happened?
And I've got some art books, and I didn't realise they're worth a lot of money now. I got them when I was a student, and I've just taken that with me because a lot of it feeds into like noise music and stuff.
Yeah. Do you look at that thunder stuff?
Yeah. I love. Maybe that's why we're in the situation we're in, because I idolise people who lived in a squat.
Yeah.
And now that's where we are. But further back.
You've got curtains, man. That wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't look like a squat. It looks lovely.
Well, no, but like we're just like.
I know it's messy. But
we haven't like bothered to find anywhere. We've just been working.
Yeah. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's that kind of constant output of stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Jack? If you can summarise it, or at least talk about what you think the sort of overarching principles are that you're trying to touch on with your work.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of world building, really, because I've always loved. It's gone through comics and it's gone through. Donya had the same books growing up. These illustrated parables and biblical stories and stuff like that, and just storytelling through the ages, and I don't know, it's like really ingrained in everything, and it's really influenced what we do, I think. And it's I used to do a lot of narrative painting, and I always wanted to just tell stories that, I don't know, I guess related to old myths and things.
Yeah.
And even like I'm a mad fan of Jack Kirby as well, and how his background influenced his creations, and how like the golem from like Jewish myth is Ben Grimm, the Thing, and things like that, and Thor, and the stories that his family took over from Eastern Europe when they came over to America, and how that influenced where I think it just naturally comes out, but like whatever you have a natural interest in it comes across. And for me, growing up, like everything was really heavily commercialized as a kid. Everything was toyetic, and it was like Turtles and Master of the Universe and stuff. And despite the fact that it was just pushed to sell cheap plastic crap to kids, like He-Man was inspired by Frank Frazetta, and you've got these different influences creeping in, and I guess I'm obsessed with toys because they just feel like something people would just do naturally anyway, like almost like creating clay sculptures.
Totally, a really like ancient thing.
Really visceral, alien-looking stuff, and that really interests me. And I guess that's what I'm trying to capture. It's almost like doing a less crass, less commercialized take on like 80s and 90s toy stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's just polluted my mind as a child.
Yeah, sure. No, I think that really runs through. I mean, obviously, you are talking about your own work, but I was going to say I agree with what you're saying in terms of how I feel about your work, because it doesn't have that kind of superficial feel to it. It feels like there is an authentic kind of essence you're trying to get across in terms of the way you tell stories. Although in terms of the image making, it does still feel very contemporary. So it's a really nice clash of something that's formal and kind of potent and valuable, and yet it also seems very kind of, I could put that on a blog. That would, but that's the interesting thing I think that defines your work from others, is that it's not just superficial characters. That there is clearly like this conversation you're having all the time about narrative and the role of character and artifact. Can we have a look at some slides? Can you back that up?
Let's have a look. The best things to sum up that stuff. I guess I included my fight comic. I think that's slide 4 and 5. And I started with these characters. I was just I was just drawing Masters of the Universe toys that I didn't own, but they were missing all their parts and they only had pants and boots. And then they just eventually ended up becoming wrestlers, and then they just ended up becoming, I don't know, I wanted to really easily identify them by separate colours. So then there's like a green skeleton man and he's meant to be glow in the dark and stuff. And the story itself is just about this chap who is supposed to look like the devil, and he gets judged as an evil character, and he's portrayed as a villain in wrestling matches, but actually he's a really nice bloke. And then the person saviour, who's sort of like a Jesus character, is a real asshole to him, and it was just sort of flipping that around. And
yeah,
I think that was, yeah. I'm going to do some more wrestling comics soon, but they're going to be less to do with maybe a little less obvious, a bit more ambiguous. They're just going to be really weird looking characters from now on.
Yeah, okay.
And like different body types.
Okay,
yeah.
Lovely. It does seem like there's quite a lot of violence in your work, although it doesn't seem like explicit or aggressive. There's a kind of charm to it. And again, I think that reflects that childhood nostalgic sort of thing.
Yeah, like I guess it's like when kids draw guns and it's people getting blown up and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's trying to capture, I guess the way that I draw is trying to...
That's like number 17.
Oh yeah, like number 17 probably shows a bit of violence. And it's growing up with, like when toys have guns and stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm going to shoot you and this will blow up. And the kids don't really understand that someone's legs are going to be gone after they've blown them up and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, you hit me. And I guess, it's like trying to play, like, I don't want to make anything, like any senseless violence, but, more theatrical, like wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we have a look at your toys? Is there some toys in here, I think?
28 is the toy.
Okay, so can you tell us about what these things are?
Yeah, that was, I used to just, because I couldn't afford to do any manufacturing, I used to get Milliput, which is like this builder's tool, and it's a bit like Sculpey, but you don't have to use the oven to cook it, so the toys don't melt. And I just used to spray paint toys and customise them. And it was around the time when a lot of people were into Kid Robot and had like monies and stuff. And I thought I would try and do my own custom toys instead of, I guess, customising someone else's stuff. And it came from that, and it all fed into the comics. And I always forget the name of them, but there's African dolls where, is it Kachinki dolls?
Right.
Or,
yeah, I'm not sure.
But I don't know.
Chino? Kachino?
Yeah, they're the ones.
Nice ones out.
And is it like is Hanama the right word? The terracotta sort of little sculptures that people build, playing into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So they were supposed to look more like old and visceral than standard action figures, I guess.
It's interesting, that notion that they seem, because they have parts that are mass produced, but then also each one is unique, they become like artifacts in that sense. So like you're saying, they're standardized, and yet they are, each one is a one-off as well. But again, we're kind of walking that tightrope of like popular culture and like landfill and like nostalgic throwaway toys, and then also, what is an ornament to current generations? What is an object of desire? Why do people keep certain things? There's a lot of kind of discussions to be had about the role and purpose of these. And do they fit into an illustrator's practice? Like, I certainly think so. Clearly these have informed a lot of work that you've made since, and I just find them really interesting. Can we have a look at the next question? I wanted to know a little bit about where your work exists. And I suppose it's kind of leading towards like who's paid for work, or beyond just making work for yourself. How do you get it to reach an audience? It might be worth. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. So Jack's had quite a few commercial jobs, but his most popular stuff's the stuff he does himself.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't had such big jobs, but my the stuff I do for people doesn't tend to see the light of day. It's all the stuff that we do ourselves. So
Yeah.
in our way, our stuff exists for our friends and people who make work like us.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe for commercial uses.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked what someone said before about building worlds or world building, and I'd like, maybe can we hear a little bit about your self-publishing and your relationship with like comics conventions and, you know, hitting the road and like just putting things in people's hands? How does that work? What do you do and what do you get from it?
It's really, really satisfying starting making a comic, drawing it, getting it having a finished product. And it's such a buzz going to conventions and meeting people and meeting other illustrators, selling your work to fans and meeting new people, that it can be really, really fun, but it can be really tiring too.
Yeah,
because
sure.
You're doing all of your publishing, you're doing all your advertising, and then you have to go and do all your own selling, and then you have to do talks and interviews and stuff, which is all really good fun. But it's like sometimes it can get a bit tiring, but it's always fun.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Do
you feel like, I mean, I know how there's you know, both of you are making work that's people are getting very passionate about, and you're generating a fan base. Do you feel like that it kind of provides you with more momentum to keep building these worlds?
Yeah, I think like it's when I reckon I can't think of the word, but we're teetering over the edge at the minute where there's that popularity there, but then it's figuring out how to monetize everything like effectively, I guess. And started doing the chubby t-shirts.
Right, okay. Is there a slide for that? I think I saw
it. Number 10. And this is work that we do together.
Me and Jack sort of do a design each and then release them. This t-shirt is based on a character I've designed, but Jack's redrawn it. And it looks so good. Cool. That's actually Jack. That's the farm there. It's obviously not his names. Chubby's been really, really good because it's putting illustration in a different format.
Yeah.
Because I love buying clothes which have got unique designs on them, and it's been really, really good to see people so enthusiastic about buying the chubby. Just wear, like, I heard there are like gangs of people wearing chubby t-shirts around campuses, and it's really encouraging.
Yeah. I think we got some chubby fans in here. We got some chubby. Yeah.
So it's really good to think.
Yeah, I think with this stuff as well, we've just been giving ourselves our own briefs because I've done so many different t-shirt jobs, and
sorry about that.
There's like, I think there was one that I did for a European company, and I think at the time I really needed the money, and I took it on, and then in the fine print they were just I don't know, they just see it as a product, I guess. They don't see it as I don't know, I guess they could care less what was printed on it. They just wanted to fire it out. They were like, this person can pull in these people to make us money. And we got paid off in the early stages, and then I guess people were buying the product thinking they were supporting us when we didn't see the money. So
okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So really, you know, I mean, I know we've talked about it before, but there's this conversation about cutting out the middleman in a way, you know, in terms of using the internet and using like simple processes to turn like your skills and your world that you're building into a product, and like you say, monetizing it.
It's all we've really known, really, since we've graduated. We graduated into a time when everything that we know how to do is online. Lecturers sort of, there was a few talks about, you know, going to London, showing your portfolio to people, getting into the gallery, getting into, like, joining the AOI and doing illustration that way. But because we're down here, we've had to live online and had to adapt and learn to advertise what we've got here. So we've sort of picked up stuff to go along because it's still quite new.
Yeah.
New way of, what's the word, entrepreneurial illustration.
Yeah, sure.
I think so. It's just all...
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's that notion of, I suppose, like, especially with an online community, there's less bullshit involved, isn't there? Really, like, these are real people who actually really know what they're interested in, what they're about. You know, there's no one at the top like just having a bath in money. You know, like it's and I suppose it goes back to the conventions as well. I mean, you're going to the Lakes convention tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, what are you expecting to get from that? Because that's a 10-hour drive for you guys.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing a 24-hour comic, so it's just the incentive to push out a book in that time.
Yeah.
And just at the minute we're still really new to conventions, so we've been doing them properly for about a year. We did fairs before that, but it's just getting used to it. We're just testing out the water. I don't think we're going to just keep doing everything all the time, but
it is a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to Scotland earlier in the year, and that was a long way.
Wow.
And it was a really good convention.
Yeah.
So we can't let the amount of time it takes us to get somewhere put us off good opportunities.
Yeah.
So.
But we're trying to, I guess, we're trying to win over the people who live in the real world.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we live on the internet.
Touch real skin.
Well, you know, a lot of us will be at Thought Bubble if you want to come and touch us. Then, you know, we'll have that conversation. In like, handshakes or fist bumps or that kind of stuff.
Yes. Oh, looking forward to that.
We'll see you there. I wanted to look at the next question on here. We talk about, I suppose, can we move on to this notion about maintaining output? You know, you've said a few times about like your kind of work ethic. Can you tell us what your daily routines are like, and certain things that you find are counterproductive, and things that you find really help you keep your motivation going?
One thing that's really good about being self-employed is that obviously you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get a train and, you know, go and have a horrible day on doing something bad. But the bad thing about being self-employed is that you can just turn your alarm off. Something I'm really bad at is getting up in the morning, and I would like faff around for ages drinking tea and checking Facebook, which is really bad, but it's so really good because it's relaxing. Got your little list of stuff you've got to do, and once you're ready, you sort of just get on with it, get it done. And that might mean starting at 11 o'clock in the morning and finishing at 12 at night. It's not as structured as such, I would say. It depends on how much you've got on.
Yeah, sure.
Some days it might be like a 5-hour work day, and other days it might be like a 20-hour work day. It depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like last week, I think I pulled 3 all-nighters, like between each day. I did 20 paintings in 2 weeks, and then a book in a day.
Right, yeah, a book in a day. That sounds like a mythical task. Can I have a look at your studio, Jack, while we keep talking about this? There's a nice picture you sent us.
Let's have a look. I think, is it... Oh yeah, number 14.
So just, tell us about your space. What is this?
It's changed around quite a lot. Now that... I guess I've never thrown anything away from since I was a kid, and it just took up too much space, and it's in like a shipping container or like a storage unit on the farm, and because we don't have any storage up in the attic or anything, my family uses these, and I took one of these over. We used to work in my in 2010, we used to work in my grand's living room, but she broke her ankle, and then she needed to. She's still in there now. Her living room's a bedroom now, so we got kicked out, and then I took over one of the units, and yeah, I just work from up there.
It's not usually that tidy behind an illusion.
Okay.
It looks like a bomb's gone off at the minute because Jack's got about 20 projects on at once.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's the magic of
Yeah, preparing for a photograph.
Yeah, that was for Front Magazine. That's why it's like all sweaty.
Yeah, you look like a cool dude.
I'll show you my writing space. There's like my pants and stuff everywhere. So.
Right, Donya. Well, you know, I appreciate the offer. I wanted to ask you. I'm getting to the bottom of this list of questions now. What advice would you give yourself? You know, we're talking here to first years and second years. If you were looking back to your student selves in your first and second year, what advice would you have given yourself then?
I would say stop being so stubborn and listen to all those people trying to teach you use Photoshop. It's not the enemy, it's going to really help knowing how to turn on a computer and scan stuff and know how to do all that, because you won't get any jobs if you don't know how to use a computer and scan. It took me a little while to figure that one out.
That's brilliant. It's amazing. We started Photoshop workshops today, so that's a good one. Thanks, Donya.
It's really helpful. And it's easier than it looks. If you get a little system, Jack taught me most of what I know about Photoshop and Illustrator, and it's really simple little tricks that make life so much easier. If anyone wants to know little tricks, like email them to you.
Okay.
The best advice I can give is, I know it happens to a lot of people, but don't try to think of the end of uni being the start of your career. You can get started a lot sooner. Like, don't try not to think of yourself as I'm exclusively a student, but like just get out there and do, and like just get stuck in and meet people and do stuff. I think, because I know people who got jobs freelancing in like their final year or even in their second year and stuff, and like sometimes I feel like maybe there could be a stigma where you think, I'm not ready yet. It's like you can be ready whenever you want to be. Really.
You've got to get out your own pace.
Yeah. It's just like, and as well.
Try not to be exploited by people just looking for students to do free work for them.
Too right. Yeah, for sure.
Because we fell into that trap quite a lot. It wasn't always a bad experience, but like, what's a good example? Just people making you do a lot of work for nothing to come out of it. They say, good for your portfolio, good exposure.
Yeah, and
but really it's just like
anyone can sound like they're professional. Because I remember we got suckered into painting a mural, and then it was for a magazine, and we thought, this is a big up and coming magazine, and it turned out it was someone's third year project, and all their parents came because we stayed in London, stayed in a hostel to try and do this, and it was on Carnaby Street, and then they had all their family around going, it's so good what she's been doing at uni. What? I don't know. But there was like, when we graduated, it was like the golden age of unpaid internships. People really desperate, and it's like, don't let people take you for a ride.
Something better I've seen that people are doing now, people are a bit more wise to it now. People are getting together with their friends in class and like small scale crowdfunding, putting stuff together themselves to sell, like books and posters and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think doing your own work and working on that rather than doing something that sounds like it would be good for a portfolio and doing it with other people might be better in the long term than trying to just do anything because it might get you work and on some imaginary ladder, which it might work, but it's like internships. Sometimes they're really good, but don't get suckered into it and it be a bit of, I don't know, a bit of a downer.
Yeah, for sure.
It can really demotivate you if you spend a lot of time working on something that
Because it's what you think people want you to do.
I mean, I'm thinking about your Simpsons Drawing Club is a really good example. Like
yeah,
13 we've got up.
Into the trash worship stuff as well. So slide 13 is the most recent one.
Can you tell us a little bit about this project? Because I loved this when this was going on. And didn't it get quite popular? Did you get a lot of people involved in this?
Yeah, we're going to start again soon, I think. But I think we're just going to keep it small scale and just the people who were there on the night, we're just going to do it. But it's one of those things where we were just at our friend's house and we were just drawing Simpsons, and it's one of those things where everyone just always quotes the Simpsons, and one of us just said, "Oh, this is a Simpsons Drawing Club," and then, as a joke, we just said, "Should we sort of try and code a Tumblr and tag all our names?" And no one was really that bothered. And then I went home and I'd made the website, and then it sort of made it feel a bit more legitimate. And then I made a really terrible logo, and it still stuck. And then it just sort of took off. But the whole idea of it was. Because those characters pre-exist, and it's exactly what I'm trying to do with my own characters now, they're almost like puppets in a puppet show, and you can just grab them and put them into sets and do what you want, because the characteristics of them already exist, so you can make stupid stories and do stupid things with them. But I guess I moved away from that to try and concentrate on my own characters. I've too many Simpsons.
It became a lot about, it sort of spiraled, didn't it? It became more about curating the Tumblr. So many people were submitting, and it was taking a lot of time.
We got a lot of stuff that missed the point where it'd be, I guess, people were doing Illuminati art and just sort of really internet new kind of stuff and sending that through, and we just thought, no, we just want to tell Treehouse of Horror style stories and just be stupid.
Keep it small, keep it simple.
Yeah. I suppose it's that interesting clash between the powers of the internet, but also that need to keep things curated and local and part of a real community rather than a global mess of misunderstanding. That's great. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're getting close to the end. I wanted to just ask you one final question, and then we can tie it up. We have kind of whizzed through your slides while you've been chatting anyway, so we've seen lots of your lovely pieces. But we kind of ask everyone at the end, can you tell us, in your mind, what's the difference between just illustration and really, really great illustration? You're welcome to talk about comics under the banner of illustration if you want.
I think illustration can just be getting paid to just stick completely to a brief, and I would say standard illustration is almost like seeing the trends and then saying, I know what will be really popular, and feed into that. And I think a great illustration is when you've got a real passion for something, and you take your experiences and you take your influences and really mash it all together into something completely unique to you. I mean, everything's been done before, but no one's experienced things in the same order or the same way as you, and that's what creates your own unique work. And I think when you fully understand what you're into and the techniques you want to use and stuff like that, and you don't fall for that sort of easy sellout sort of stuff where you think I'll just copy what's popular, and I think you'll go miles.
Yeah.
It's your own voice,
Yeah, that's amazing, thank you.
Personally, I find illustration that's really, really visually beautiful and has a story behind it. It's the sort of stuff I think is really great.
Yeah.
But I think it's passable to when somebody else might think that really abstract, poetic things are the best type. Really edgy, ironic stuff's great stuff. So, it's really fun to take several things something's great in its own way in a different way.
Yeah. But there's certainly that notion of like being able to make work that functions but also sits on the edge of being slightly uncomfortable. I couldn't agree more. All right, guys. Well, this is wonderful. We've been talking for like nearly 50 minutes now, and I think everyone's going a little bit crazy just because it's what happens when you put so many people in a room. But I want to say thank you to you both so much. Enjoy the festival, and we'll see you in Leeds. Do you want to have a quick goodbye wave?
If anyone ever wants to get in touch, just drop us a line.
Yeah.
We're get our emails for websites. Get in touch. It'd be nice to speak to you.
Okay, that's so kind of you. Thank you both. Cheerio then.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.